Good Tuesday afternoon, y'all. I'm Rick, and thank you for joining me here at Uncommon Communion for a little bit of a post midday message. Let's begin, as we always begin, by remembering that we are always and everywhere in the holy presence of God and each other. Well, I hope wherever you are in the world today, it is as beautiful, as spectacular, as amazing outside as it is today where I live here in central Ohio. I was just able to do something that I really have not done in a while. I did it yesterday, but before yesterday, I'd not done it in a while, which is sitting on my back patio porch, sometimes called a Florida room, I think. But it is my favorite place in my entire house. And all winter, I have been waiting for the first day that I can go out there without a coat, without shoes, without bundling up, and being quite comfortable. And I was able to do that today. So I hope that wherever you are, you get out and enjoy. I'm here today to share a couple of things. One is a little bit of a reading that really struck me this morning. It is something that I just posted the link to just a few minutes ago. It is from Father Richard Rohr in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He has this wonderful little center called the Center for Action and Contemplation. Let's ponder that name here for just a second, because he is affirming, and all of the wonderful people that have studied with this, who work with this, who publish through this, sometimes called the CAC, they are affirming that we need both. We need contemplation, pondering, experiencing the presence of God, recognizing that, realizing that, and action. Now, the action can be a practice, or, especially in these difficult crisis times politically, that action can be a protest. It can be opposition. It can be the great American pushback, which is something that Jim Acosta is using, the gap. I really like that idea. So maybe start using it as you talk to people. Talk about the fact that we are in the midst of the gap, the great American pushback. Well, regardless, we need to ponder, to experience, and receive the presence of God, to recognize that, to nourish ourselves so that we can go out into the world and act. So every day there is a reflection that can be emailed to you, or you can find it on the website. And here's what I read this morning. I'm just going to read you a little paragraph here. It is from Serene Jones, the book, which I'm not familiar with, but I am putting it on my TBR list. Call It Grace, Finding Meaning in a Fractured World. And here's what she says in the second paragraph. God does not stay at a distance from us, but constantly seeks to transform our lives by asking us to awaken to the divine presence. God is a mysterious, creative, sustaining life force. God is there all the time. The challenge for us is to open our eyes, ears, hands, minds, and hearts to receive the truth of God's real, persistent presence. God's grace. When we open ourselves to it, we are changed by it. The way we perceive the world shifts, like a radically refocused camera lens, and we experience life differently. You see everything around you as suffused with God's love. You see God's grace everywhere, saturating all existence. This process of awakening to what is already true, but you haven't previously seen it, is called conversion, a word that literally means to see anew. I recommend and commend to you, invite you to read the rest of this reflection today. Again, I put the link to it in the notes here for the Substack. Really, really rich and really, I find very inspiring and very much in line with being a planetary pilgrim. which is what we are striving to do. I want to begin with another type of practice. And it's a very basic practice. Maybe you do it already. I hope you do it already. It's walking. And I'm going to suggest to you over the course of a number of reflections, a number of different types of walks that you can do mindfully. Now, we all walk for fitness, and actually one of these will have a pretty good fitness component. Nevertheless, we can definitely walk in a mindful way where we are just simply paying attention. We are looking. And in the case of the first walk, and all of these walks have names that I came up with that are alliterations and hopefully easy to remember. The first one I think is the most important. It is called the Wonder Walk, Wonder, Wonder Walk. And there's a number of different ways this can be done. I personally think it is best when you have multiple people, because then the wonder becomes a conversation and different people can point out different sights and different observations, and a conversation can ensue. Even if you're by yourself, it is as simple as every so often, as you are walking and looking and paying attention, being aware of where you are, you just ask yourself a question. I wonder, and see where that goes. Now, it could be if you see an animal of some kind, it could be, I wonder where that animal lives. I wonder what kind of bird that is. That might be a good wondering, right? I wonder where that sun is going to set, where, I see it in the sky right now. If I look over to the west, where is it going to set today? I think especially this time of year, as the trees, by and large in the Northern Hemisphere, probably where you live, although if you live further south, it may not be the case, they're still pretty bare. And paying attention to the trees in your yard, in your neighborhood, in your neighbor's yards, whatever it might be, paying attention and asking questions like, I wonder when the buds are going to break. I wonder when we will see the first dandelions or the first tulips. I wonder where that squirrel lives. That's a big wondering that I'm going to do. As readers will know, I've become kind of obsessed with squirrels and their drays, their nests. So it really doesn't matter what the question is, but a good question, a good wondering question, doesn't necessarily have an answer. It may lead to more wondering questions. And at the very least, it allows us to see what we may always be seeing, or we might be missing, right? To be able to see it in a different way, like a radically refocused camera lens, like we heard in the reflection. And as we see everything around us suffused with God's love. So again, that's the first walk that I'm going to suggest. There are a few more to follow. I'll introduce those over time. I want to close, as I usually do, with a little reading. This is from this little book of prayer, so you know the prayer is going to be short. This is from the poet Rainier Maria Rilke, a German poet. It's from his Book of Hours, and he says, I find you, Lord, in all things, and in all my fellow creatures, pulsing with your life. As a tiny seed, you sleep in what is small, and in the vast, you vastly yield yourself. Well, my friends, my fellow travelers, my fellow planetary pilgrims, thank you again for joining. Please be part of a conversation. Share this with others. Like this, subscribe to this, write in the comments, write in the chat, all those kind of great things, because we need each other on this journey, because we don't do it alone. And we give each other support, we give each other encouragement, and ultimately we are being light and salt, like Jesus says, here in the world. So again, thank you, blessing and good, and be well.